priced. I'm like, all right, that's fine.
So much peer pressure.
All
Alright.
right, OT, you got the open.
DJ.
Yeah.
Episode 3, season 2.
Gotcha.
That's what
All
they're
right. Is it recording?
Yeah.
It's recording.
Yeah, it's recording. I started
Oh,
already.
God.
Well, I'll cut it out, maybe.
Julian was just sleeping.
Well, I know. I have problems with control. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go, bro. Still screwed up.
Yeah.
What's that?
You're up.
We're just watching OT right now. Actually, we're just watching Welcome back to season 2, episode 3 of Between Two Coupons with your host Escobar and Skids. Ew.
Ew.
Yeah. So episode 3 already. Trying to go quick and fast here with some awesome hymns and awesome topics this year. And here, this one we're calling Details in the Gloom, unless these guys come up with a better name, which they probably will, because they're very creative fellows here. So
What's the idea like? So why Details in the Gloom?
Well, I don't even know why this came up. I think we've had a lot of creative ideation lately, and a lot of Slack DMs going out there on B2C episode ideas.
Yeah.
And I think this one was just like, coupons are cool, the flags are cool, the shirts are cool. Like, who's doing all this work, right?
Yeah, I think there's that. And it's like things that kind of add to the culture, some to the allure of kind of like the beatdowns and stuff, and it's all kind of part of the fabric that makes F3 Omaha, I think, somewhat unique and pretty incredible. And I think you men have really done a solid job of adding to that like depth. So we're excited to talk about that. Before we do that, Name-A-Rama?
Name-A-Rama. Oh, Key Sutton 39 overtime.
Overtime.
Drake Shirt 38 Skids.
Skids. Dude.
Brian Johnson, 42, Tenderfoot.
Tenderfoot.
Nick Adams, 38. Up.
Huffy.
Ding, ding, ding.
Eric Stromers, 46. Folsom.
Keep your shirt on.
He has two shirts on.
D-Home 37 Escobar.
Escobar.
So, before we get started, I just want to thank the 11 subscribers on YouTube. Take that, Ponzi. Actually, we were kind of running the numbers for season 2, episode 1, and on Twitter we had 1,400 views collectively across the episodes. We had about somewhere close to 100 views of the first season. So, appreciate you guys liking the content, spending some time on there. It's exciting time for B2C as we're having a little bit of fun and getting to know some of the hymns in Omaha.
And all the ad revenue goes back to the foundation. There's no ad revenue.
7 cents.
It's still under a cent, so they don't pay.
This just saying we have 10 subscribers now.
Yeah.
So real quick, just for the 3 guests, I know we did Name-A-Rama, but give us a little bit of a quick intro to yourself. So F3 name, who EH'd you, favorite AO, maybe one personal fact.
All right, I'll go first. Folsom, I got EH by a Brazilian, like about 70% of the packs here in Omaha. And I started when F3 was just a month old, and so I've been around for a lot. And I make the shovel flags. If you go to a site, you've seen my work.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Nick Adams. I joined, it'll be 3 years in May. Brazilian also EH me. I'll just say that he is the worst EH'er, so I truly don't know how he has the tree, because he's terrible. He's like, oh, we're going with some dudes, do you want to come? And that's it. Like, it took me like 3 months, and I was just like, well, I got nothing going on today. So, and then I got the name Huffy because I bike a lot. So that's kind of my personal story.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, Tenderfoot, I got EH by Safe Ride. It'll be 3 years in March, so coming up pretty soon. Got my name because I am the Cub Master for a bunch of kids in the district, so that's what I got.
Nice and Huffy. You forgot to mention that you make the beautiful
I do
coupons.
I figured that would come up at some point tonight. I am the couponist.
Coupon master. That's
Yeah.
all you have to say.
Yeah.
And I do some shirts.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
a little of that.
Where are you going to be queuing at in March or 3 year? It's like obligatory, right?
Yeah, I don't know yet. I'm sure somewhere.
Okay.
Haven't planned that far ahead yet.
Fair.
So I guess I'm kind of curious, like, so how did you get so everybody's got a niche here at the table, so how did you get your niche, and where do you find your inspiration?
I think this is a fun story. We used to have a evening AO was called the Horse Track, and it met I think at 6 or 6:30 at night on Thursdays. And it was in Exarban, so the same site of Brickyard, Heavy Metal, Cornhusker, and I liked it because it was easy to get to for me in the evening, and it was something to do, and we'd always go and drink beer afterwards.
Nice.
So I kind of loved the extra fellowship. It kind of was a precursor to heavy. We often would lift weights, but it wasn't a requirement that you had to do weights. You could, whoever's queuing, just kind of picked. And at that time, I think we had 2 shovel flags because Wait Time brought 2 with him when he came to Omaha. And so you had to coordinate and pass it around to everyone. So if you were out a Tuesday, if you were at Cornhusker, they'd be like, hey, who's going to a horse track? We need to get you the flag. And then, a horse track, you have to make sure that it got to the woodshed on Friday, that kind of thing. And so I got the flag out there and we're doing our workout, and I don't know, I was in a hurry to get a beer or whatever. I left it in the park. And so the next morning I show up to the workout and I'm like, oh crap. So I went over there at 6:30 in the morning. It's already gone. No luck finding it. So I reach out to Wait Time and I say, dude, I feel absolutely horrible. I will buy another one. Just tell me how much it costs, who I have to pay. And his response was, well, the problem is you can't buy those. You have to make them. And so he said, I think there's a video on YouTube of some guy that makes them. Check it out. And so sure enough, I found the video, watched it. It's like a 10-minute video on just kind of drilling the hole, putting the flagpole in there, and then just kind of the steps he took to paint it. And so I watched that and I thought, oh, I could probably do that. And so I think that was in the fall, and by that spring, I think the first batch I made was probably 8, maybe 12 shovel flags for some of the original sites were Futurama, Golden Spike, Heavy Metal, and just been running with it ever since.
So I heard in Philly, the flags have a street value. Somehow they disappear when they put them out there. Have you heard these stories yet?
No, I did make one for F3 Chicago, and that got stolen. so I had to make them another one. And then so now they take it. A lot of times we'll have the flag at one end of the park, and we'll be working out another one and never see it until we come back. But in Chicago, they take it with them now because someone stole their flag.
So how long did it take you to make that first one, and now, what are we at now too? Efficiency and everything gains.
Well, yeah, I mean, you definitely get like a little more efficient, I think, is the more you make. But it's also I think you guys can see this, right?
Yeah.
So this was probably the first one I ever made. And as you can tell, it's pretty basic. It's black, it's white, it's got just F3 Omaha on it. So I went from that to putting it.
I think I had a jam between the 2 coupons down there. That's what
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
You're not
Nailed it.
professionals.
So I went from just putting some tape and some stickers on there to making putting a shield on there for the berm and making an actual trident for the trident. So the bigger and more extravagant it's gotten, the longer it takes.
Mhm.
So
What can we do about these shovels in the winter though? They feel kind of bendy. I mean, can we make, is there like some PI we could do on that? Maybe? Spades or I don't know. It's like swapping the
Yeah.
bottoms. I'm
Yeah,
just working with it here.
maybe every site queue has a bucket full of sand
Bucket
to
of
stick
sand.
around with them.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, sand in the back of the truck.
So now we need somebody that can make the buckets custom.
Two buckets.
3
Is
buckets.
that like a free
Got it.
free bottle of whiskey for?
Not it.
I feel like you guys,
I got
should have
something.
websites
I
for
got
your
something.
your skills here. Put this out to the nation. Other than shipping coupons, that might get a little cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
So kind of going back to coupons, Huffy, tell us about how did you get your start, and where do you find your inspiration for some of these designs?
So this was like the original coupon design. Early 2021, I was approached by Tater Tot and Plague about starting a new site. Folsom and I had chatted a little bit. If you've ever been to one of my queues, I love to move. I love to have your heart rate up. So I never go to heavy metal because you just stand there and it's terrible. And I'm just joking, spacebar. But in all honesty, I was like, I would love a hybrid heavy metal meets boot camp. And so Iron Packs was kind of the inspiration for this, and like, let's do something that kicks your ass, but with a coupon, you're moving a lot, your heart rate's up. And so we decided to start a new site in April of last year. And so I decided to call it the Brickyard. So I made this first coupon and I kind of taped it up a little bit, spray painted it, spackled black, white, gray paints on it, stenciled in the Brickyard. I did 3 of them. One was regular, one said the Brickyard, and one said Huffy. And then I drew a little bike for myself, and I thought it was so cool. And then literally like the next week I got COVID. And it was terrible. Like, I was isolated, I was quarantined, and this coupon gave me the idea to do toadstools. So toadstools was actually the first personalized coupon that I did, because this gave me the idea of kind of like that Nintendo theme a little bit, the red bricks, and I was like, I bet I could make something kind of cool. So I had my wife go to Home Depot, buy me another cinder block. I ordered some paint pens on Amazon, and I drew out his coupon, and it turned out so cool. To this day, it's probably one of my favorites. It was like the original personalized coupon. It's not because I liked him the most, it's just because that was the coupon that I wanted to do. Like, just the style, like what in my vision of, the Nintendo theme on one side, because it's like a Nintendo, and then on the other side, it's the actual Toadstool character.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that was the first one that I did, and then I was like, all right, well, that took 9 hours. I have 8 more days.
Right.
And so I was like, hey, wife, would you go back to Home Depot? And so she went back, she bought 4 more coupons. And I kind of started with my like inner shield lock a little bit, and kind of went off the guys, but like, who has cool names that like I could do? Like Safe Ride. And I was like, what? Okay, that's a Buick. And so I kind of sketched out a Buick and then drew on the Hotman O'Brien logo on his. And it turned out really cool. And then I was like, oh, Stella. And so I made like the coupon was a beer glass and with the Stella logo and then Stella written on it. There was just some that were so like direct and just hit. Like, this is what I want to do. And then Folsom actually called me, which his is
Right there. What's up here?
right here. So his is the only one that really doesn't match his name. Everyone's is Doppler, boop, boop,
Makes sense.
radar, everything hits directly. Folsom called me and he's like, dude, I know you're in quarantine. I know you're making coupons. Because he'd seen a couple. He goes, I'm Oscar Mike tomorrow and I have a boombox playlist. Can you make me a boombox? And I was like, by tomorrow? Yeah, I got that. And so I spent 7 hours and kind of teed that up and sketched it out and painted it in, and he picked it up and went Oscar Miking with it. And so it kind of has evolved from there. There were like the first, I think it was like 15 to 18 that I did. The original ones were all spray painted. The base, they usually took 3 layers of spray paint. So it took a spray paint, time to dry, spray paint. It took forever and it was tedious. And so I've evolved from that to just, if you can see, just mostly more just paint pens and a little bit of acrylic every now and then. I don't use spray paint nearly as much, but it started with that core group of Shield Lock, and then it just spiraled out of that and
Modified as necessary.
and then it kind of went to the guys who have really cool names, like who has a kick-ass name that would be something fun to draw. And then it went a step further. Like, I was like, all right, guys who I worked out with, they would come to me and be like, hey, how do I get one of these custom coupons? And then I even got asked by some guys' wives. They would text me and be like, hey, I want to get my husband a coupon for Christmas. Would you make him a coupon? And so it kind of has just evolved from that point. About halfway through, I spent so much time and money, I started to sell myself out a little bit, and I'd be like, yes, I'll do it for a bottle of whiskey. And so now it's kind of a trade-off. I provide the coupon and the finished product, and you provide me with a bottle of brown liquor.
That works.
Bourbon, rye. I never tell the guy what to buy. I've had $10 bottles of whiskey. I've had $150 bottles of whiskey. It's truly what the guy wants to do. It's a transfer of goods, and it's fantastic. I get joy out of it. My kids go to bed, I turn on The Office, I drink a glass of whiskey, and I stencil and I paint. And it's fantastic. It's so much fun. So I'm at 103 coupons
Holy cow.
right now.
So how many requests do you get a month, do you think?
I would say it's probably 5-ish. One a week.
That's
Ish.
pretty cool.
Yep. So, and again, even to this day, if there's a new guy who joins that has a really kick-ass name, I'll send them a message. It's like, hey, you want to do a custom coupon for a bourbon exchange? Because I'll have an idea of what I want to do for them. And some guys like Skids, he's like, hey man, I got a really good idea. And I was like, yeah, I've seen your crappy underwear. And he's like, no, I want a skid loader with toilet paper coming out of the back. And I'm like, are you serious? You know, or like, because I've never actually taken requests. Like, if you ask for a coupon, I make you something, and you get what you get. But there have been two that come to mind, and Skids is one, and the other one is Ruxpin. And I was like, obviously he's just gonna be a Teddy Ruxpin. And he's like, dude, I want a teddy bear playing paintball. What? I'm like, that's weird, man.
So random.
Turns out he's a semi-professional paintball player. And so it kind of fits into his name, and so there are some times where I'll take into account really what a guy wants and try to accommodate, and otherwise it's just whatever fits the name, and also whatever can fit on an 8x16-inch concrete canvas.
There you go.
I love that.
Yeah.
Tenderfoot, how about you? How'd you get your start?
So my professional career, I work in marketing and design, so it wasn't that much of a stretch. I mean, you guys have like these artistic kind of like after work hobbies, but that is my business. And so I just saw a lot of guys that needed some help with their AO logos, or they wanted to design a flag for their AO, and they're like, my current design doesn't do this. Would you, Tenderfoot, help me out with either designing a new design for an AO or help me redesign my current one? The first guy that reached out to me was Sister Act. So he was starting Main Stage and he wanted a custom logo. And I worked with him on some freelance projects, and we have a pretty good rapport. Like, he likes to kind of supply some initial ideas, and then I supply him with, hey, here's what we could do. And then we kind of like do a lot of riffing back and forth, and that's how that AO's logo came into being. And so creating something fresh for that AO for Main Stage. But then Spacebar was like, hey, I am now the Q in charge of Heavy. I love the logo, but I'd love to put a kind of my spin onto it. And so we were talking about our love for Misfits. And so we kind of like took the Heavy logo and injected some of Spacebar's love for the Misfits into it. So now it has like kind of this fist, but it's a skeleton fist, and everything's kind of a little bit more edgy. So just trying to like help the guys, the packs, come up with ways where they can kind of improve on what they get when they take over an AO, or creating stuff from scratch. That cue for the CSOP over there, Tater Tot reached out to me in early December and said, hey, we've got this concept for the CSOP. It's the Catalina wine mixer. And then he just sent me a picture of an ugly sweater. So I'm like, all right, yeah, we can make that happen. So, but I had kind of some questions like, how are we going to lean into Step Brothers on this, or which way are we going? So working with the guys on the CSOP committee was fun, and we developed that look, and I put my own little spin in there, having some reindeers splashing Merlot in the design. I thought that was run to you puke, that'll be great. So
I missed that, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, that's what that is. If you look in there, like they're like, ah.
All right.
So
I need to add that to my coupon.
There you go. Yeah, make sure you get that in there. But I tried to bring a little bit of my sense of humor and sensibilities to every design, and just really helping every guy that has an AO, making sure that they have something that they can like be really proud of, and kind of creating that momentum to carry the AOs forward.
So what does it mean to you guys? I mean, you guys all kind of get a sense, like collectively talking together, kind of understanding like how each of you are playing a role into various elements of pride within maybe a certain AO or within the packs. Like, what does this mean to you guys? Why do you do it? Like, what keeps you doing it?
For me, to start, I tell the guy they need to come to the Brickyard if they want a custom coupon. It's a way to promote so I'm the site Q of the Brickyard Fridays, 5:30 a.m. Simpson Park. If you want a custom coupon, that's where you gotta go.
Bourbon helps though.
Bourbon also helps. So, but it has become a hobby that also is so cool. On Fridays when people do Namorama and 22 out of the 26 guys hold up their own coupons. Like, I don't know, I just look at these and just the identity and the pride that guys take. Some guys are like, I'm never gonna work out with this. Like, it goes into their office, it goes into their home, like, and I'm like, no, like, it's meant to be used, but it's to me, it's so cool to see guys take pride in something that they identify with then.
Yeah.
The skids, whether it's yours or Doppler's, his radar, like, to see guys use these coupons, I mean, that guys take pride in their name. Usually, for the most part, you identify, it might take a while, but you become to know, this is my F3 name. Even when you're around town, hey, what's up, Folsom? What's going on, Esquire? Like, you don't call guys by their first name. And so to have something, for me, that's an item that you bring, that you use, that is yours. When someone else picks it up, you're like, whoa, be careful. Like, it's pride of ownership, and it's neat to see. It's neat to see guys, from my point, that I made something that they cherish so much. It's really cool to see. So
I'd say the reason I do it is because I like to see how much it kind of creates just more energy for the packs. You know, I'm not saying that Heavy didn't have a fantastic logo, but you know, after
the first one.
It wasn't me.
No,
it was
yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Baymax.
But
We
you know,
had no logo for me.
but like, you know, when you have an AO that's like been like pretty OG, like Heavy, you know, you want to kind of just inject more energy in there, keep it going, keep dudes excited about going there, and sometimes just having a fresh logo, you know, having a new logo pop up on Twitter, or you know, some new swag through the merch store. It's just like it just helps, I think, you know. So
Gets your attention.
So that's like, on the Brickyard, I designed our initial logo, and I took it to Tenderfoot, and I was like, hey, I just need the font fixed. Like, I had like bricks being blown out, and it said Brickyard in the middle. I said Fitness, Fellowship, and Faith, Omaha, and I was like, can you just fix the smaller out? And he's like, yeah, no problem, man. And he's like, hey, I did what you wanted, but I also did a completely new design. And I was like, that's not what I asked you to do, man. And I saw it, and I was like, that's cool. And it was cleaner, it was simpler, it was more energetic, it fit almost what the site was. And I was like, dude, I didn't even tell you what I was looking for. And he took my initial design and made it 1,000 times better.
but I didn't make you choose. I was
No.
like,
He said, here's what you wanted. I gave you another option if you want to even look at this. Otherwise, just send this in. Here's your files. And I was like, dude, this one is kick ass. And we redesigned the Brickyard logo 2 months ago. We got new swag, we got new shirts, I got a new flag made.
Wow.
All like, so this guy is legit and thinks of what the person's running, what the site is running, and what like essentially the energy of that site. I mean, Brickyard is one thing. Heavy metal, you know, like that skull fist. I mean, like, every site has its own energy, its own different direction that it's going, and somehow he kind of just hits that nail individually. The CSUP, I mean, like, you're talking a sweater. I had no idea that like that's the guidance you were given, and that's what was hit directly on the head.
Have you ever you've done 103 coupons? Have you ever given one to a guy and the guy's like, this isn't really what I want?
I won't say names.
Never
but
spoke to
I
him
won't
again.
say names, but yes.
You can't say names? I mean,
Yes,
there's
yes.
we only have 34 guys.
And he's like,
That's why I
he
love
goes,
people
oh,
watch this.
I bought a bottle of bourbon for this?
If it was Mufasa,
Take it
back.
back.
No, like
Anybody else?
Mufasa was very, very appreciative, but there have been a couple, and it's fine. Like, I have what I think is tailored to that guy, and I always ask what I think, and then I send a text. What's your story? Because I want to make sure they kind of jive. Chucky. I mean, I was sure it was about the movies. Turns out it's not. It's about the Raiders and the coach, and I was like, well, that screws that design up. Like, I had something awesome in my head.
It could have been an animatronic rat,
Right?
or a murderous doll.
And it turns out it's the more boring one, so now I got to completely redesign that. So
He's getting the rat though.
but yeah, no. So I mean, just a couple. Otherwise, people are really appreciative, and there's some that you're like khakis. What do you do besides a pair of khakis? Khakis, I love you, buddy. You got a pair of khakis with the word respect, because khakis. There's not much more creative than you can do than. Maybe Tenderfoot could design you something. Reach out to him.
So is there now? You've probably seen all the AO, shirts and everything. Is there something you're just like, man, we gotta redo that?
We gotta fix
You know?
that.
It's okay. I mean, I've seen the original coupon.
No, I respect every AO's logo. I mean, unless the site key reaches out to me, I'm never gonna go, hey, your logo sucks. You know, that's just so rude. So I
This is
respect.
between two coupons.
Yeah.
It's like, you're supposed to say which one you
I
want.
know no one's watching this.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But no, I would never, no.
You know, there's something to be said about the affinity as a PAX. When I buy a shirt, like I feel like I have an obligation to that AL.
100%. Yeah.
But you know, there's something to that, which is kind of cool. And then both you guys contributed to the Project Pink endeavor, so thank you. And it was kind of fun to see when we gave the flag to Cynthia and her team, and the brick, and the sense of pride that they had in it. And they talked a little bit about the brick and the fact that to them the coupon represented strength. And so they have both the flag hanging on the wall and the brick in the office. And so it's kind of cool to see like how this manifests uniquely to every person within F3 in different ways.
They even took off from Namerama and things. They're just like, this is a really good idea for small groups and identity. And so, yeah.
Very cool.
So it's cool to see the impact just beyond the PAX. So you guys are making an impact, you know, within the community. So thank you for that. What else you got?
Color scheme on the shovel flags. Is that you just kind of go off of, you know,
Yeah, you know,
just mix it up, or is there a pattern?
So when I made that first run, you know, each site has its own personality. And so I wanted to be able to, I guess, add to that or feed off of it and to respect that. And so like I remember one of the first ones was the woodshed. And so you think about that and I'm like, well, wood, duh. So the shovel, the handle's already wood. So I just left that. I put the name, the woodshed, and the date is just the natural wood, and then I painted around that with the green for, you know, the grass and the leaves and all that stuff. And so from there it just kind of spitballed to. I remember doing the golden spike, and I thought, you know, obviously you're gonna have gold on there, and black and gold looks pretty cool together. And I found glitter spray paint, which I thought was just fantastic, glitter gold spray paint. And I thought, you know, I can make a railroad spike out of some tape. So I paint the whole thing gold. I get some painter's tape. I kind of cut it so it looks like a railroad spike and put that right on the front. And that was really the beginning of starting to do some design work. Instead of just saying, you know, golden spike and, you know, like this one where it has a couple of stripes just to kind of mix it up.
Yeah.
And so I started kind of going from there, and just like I said, always trying to like working with the site queue, because a lot of them, we, you know, once we caught up, it was always then the new launch. You know, I'm doing the berm, and Birdman was one of the guys that was very involved, because a lot of the guys are just like, I'm doing this site, this is what it's called, and then I kind of, you know, riff on that, think about it. Birdman was like, I'm really into shield lock. I'm doing a site called the berm. I want to put a shield on it. Can you do that? And I just said, give me a shield.
Yeah.
Give me a shield and I will figure it out. And so 2 days later, Amazon truck pulls up while I'm out in the driveway. I'm cutting on shovel flags and drilling some holes and stuff. And here comes this big box, and I'm like, I know what this is. And I pulled it out, and here's this freaking shield. And so I figured out how to bolt it to the shovel. And so another one that I'm really proud of is the Trident. And that was talking to Roadhouse. Roadhouse was like, man, I looked, and either I can get a $10 plastic Trident, or I can get a $300 gold one. He's like, there's nothing in between. And I thought, well, what about, you know, like maybe a pitchfork? No, they got 4 tongs. Like, this isn't gonna work. And it was like, I don't know, call it fate or whatever, divine intervention. But I just happened to be watching this YouTube video of I make the world's like coolest home gym. And she'd taken and used PVC pipes to make a wine rack. And I was like, oh, she's drilling holes in them. I'm like, I wonder if I can paint PVC. And so a quick Google was like, oh yeah, you just gotta clean it up, sand it a little bit, get it rough, and you can spray paint it. Boom. So you go to the hardware store, and I text him, and I just said, hey, I got this idea, your shovel flag is gonna cost twice as much now. He was like, okay, no problem.
$2.
So, and you know, it just came together, and I think it looks really cool. And you know, doing what I do for a living as a prosecuting attorney, I don't get to be creative. You know, it's just the facts. Right. You know, I'm like dragging it. You know, just the facts, man. And so to be able to make these, it's tapped into this whole side of me that I kind of even forgot existed. And so people always ask me like, well, how long does it take you to make one? And the honest answer is I have no idea
It
because
takes the time it takes.
yeah, I'm thinking about it while we're running on a workout, thinking about a design. If I got an hour here, then yeah, I'm gonna cut into one. I might, you spray paint and you wait. It's just like once I start working on stuff like Dragon's Lair, I made that kind of Chinese like snake dragon out of tape. And I just literally hand tore little pieces of tape and shaped it on there to make wings and fangs and all that stuff. I have no idea how long it took because I'm not watching the clock. I'm loving it. Like I'm having the time of my life because I've tapped into this creative juices and I'm hyper focused and I have no idea how long it takes.
The master with his medium.
Yes.
So I mean, we're gonna have to put out a request for between two coupons.
Shirts, flags, coupons.
Get your branded merch on.
Now, are there any shirts coming up that or AO redesigns you can talk about? Like let people know kind of for hey, there might be something coming.
Well, yeah. So I'm pretty sure that Trident will be doing shirts soon. I haven't seen Roadhouse launch that out for merch yet, and the same with Heavy. Those are the only ones that are coming up in the near term.
Did Roadhouse go with the design where he's humping the moon or whatever? Or
He did not go with it. No. He
That was his own design.
That's the problem.
I did that one, and then I gave him an alternate.
We
Yeah,
will have
that's-
some I Am the Six ones coming up pretty soon.
nice, nice.
Nice.
Already designed those, so.
Well,
And
I don't know. I was just thinking about Roadhouse humping the moon. Like we do monkey humpers. He's
There's
like,
a lot
hump that moon. You know, like there's just I love.
I have a weird feeling it's like a flag made up, like it's hanging in his house somewhere. Like
I love
It's
it.
done, right?
you know he has it.
Yeah.
Just
One doesn't simply come up with that idea and do nothing with it.
Right.
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 All right. Well, I think that's kind of the end. So I want to thank our guest today. This has been awesome to hear about your journeys and the impact that you're making with details in the Gloom. We didn't come up with a better name, so that's sticking.
I don't know what else. I just keep thinking of different shirts and things. How excited I am. There's a couple. I really want Titan Alley to come out again. I've been telling JC, I'm like, hey, we need to order. Maybe it's not even his to do. Lucky or
Lucky.
Yeah.
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 He needs to reach out to me. I
Right?
can help him turn it up, or they can just reprint. Whatever.
mainly because I live right there. So I need a shirt.
I got one real quick. Are you gonna get on the new F3 logo design?
Yeah,
contest?
I submitted
yeah.
one.
Nice.
So anybody in F3 can submit, or they can take a look at what's been submitted if they just follow that link that was sent out, I think like a week and a half ago. But yeah, I submitted one, and there's some at least 3 decent designs in there.
Okay.
What's
Because I might throw my hat.
Okay, maybe 4. Maybe 4.
Are they going to use that on all their?
That would be like the shirt
That's
for
their
2022.
annual
Nice.
year.
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
I think I might have to throw my hat in the ring on this one.
Yeah, put it in there. You never know.
And if you want a custom
So,
coupon,
so
come to the
producers,
brickyard.
producers are telling me we need to get off before
Oh.
Folsom takes a shirt off. We really made it through an entire episode without that happening. So.
Yeah.
That's true.
Is it getting hot in here?
On that note, F3 Omaha, thanks for coming to this episode of Between Two Coupons. We'll see you next time.
Cheers.
Cheers. Good job, guys. That's good. That's fun.
Are you guys filming another one now? Or are you doing
Yeah, we got one more.